whatever you want to do with it. I'm coming to speak not on just my behalf, but all athletes' behalf. That when you guys do interviews, y'all should respect athletes more. Y'all should understand them coming from whether they're winning, whether they're losing, whatever the case may be. Athletes deserve way more respect than when y'all just come and throw cameras into their faces. Understand how an athlete operates and then ask your questions. Then be more understanding of the fact that they are still human, no matter just the fact of y'all just trying to get something to put out in an article to make $1. Thank you.
Sha'Carri Richardson, born March 25th, 2000. Criticism. In life in general, this can be a very hard pill to swallow because as humans, unperfect ones, we tend to shy away from anything that can mentally throw us off course and lead to lacking the confidence we need to get through everyday life. We all can relate, as most of us are fueled by being told we're doing a good job and getting compliments of hope no matter how bad we've messed up or how much worse we've made a situation. Keep your head up, you'll get them next time. Since birth, as parents, we've instilled this need for affirmation and attention into our kids, sometimes even when nothing they did was at all spectacular. Wow, good job, you're so good. Later on, life teaches that child that actually that isn't that good. In fact, you were pretty bad. Or in 2022, that was trash, horrible, you're done. At 21 years old, can you imagine being on a world stage and have to be torn down daily on television, YouTube, and social media about how bad you are, look, and performing? This is to some extent the Sha'Carri Richardson experience. Add to that criticism in daily life, the criticism professional athletes and entertainers receive as soon as they step out the door whenever things aren't going so well for them. At now 22 years old, Sha'Carri Richardson has been through a lot in the public eye, and admittedly she hasn't always dealt with it in the most correct manner, and maybe hasn't shown the wisdom it takes as yet to survive in the tough world of ultra critique of professional athletes. My question isn't, does Sha'Carri Richardson deserve to be criticized or sometimes even bullied in media, social or viral, but instead, are the criticisms too much for the young star, and is it fair that we paint her career as being finished at just 22 years old? Most recently, she's missed her final chance to make the US team for the World Championships after she did not qualify in the 200 and also failed to do so in the 100 meters as well. She ran 11.31 in the Toyota USATF Outdoor Championships, good for 5th place in the 100 meters, eliminating her from the US team, and didn't make the final in the 200 at 22.47 seconds, also good for 5th place at the same event. Following her races, she stormed by and refused to comment to the media and receive even more criticism for her attitude and unprofessionalism, being an athlete signed to the biggest brand in all sports. This makes back-to-back seasons in which Sha'Carri Richardson ended in disappointment and a far cry from where she was at 19 years old, setting a record in the 100 meters with a time of 10.75, the 8th fastest time ever in female track and field, and in 2019 then eclipsing that time with a personal best of 10.72 in 2021, making her the 6th fastest female ever. She's just 22 years old and has been through some of the toughest last few years on and off the track, and now has it finally become too much. For these 3 reasons, Sha'Carri Richardson's growth is being stunted. Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man.
And can't nobody ever take that from me. Congratulations to the winners. Congratulations to the people that won, but they're not done seeing me yet. Period.
Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. You can also send a super thanks by clicking the button below. Enjoy the video. Sha'Carri Richardson is a 22-year-old track and field athlete from Dallas, Texas that began her junior career on a tear through meets like the Junior Olympics 2016, where she won the 100 meters. She followed that up the next year, winning the USATF Junior Olympics in the same event, leading to a gold medal at the Pan American Under-20 Championships in the 4x1 relays. With a start like that, she was heavily recruited across the nation, but chose LSU and the Lady Tigers track team as her college choice. In 2019, she won the 100 meters at the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships and second place in the 200, setting records in both for females under 20 years old, including the sixth best time ever by a female as mentioned earlier in the 100. Her freshman year was truly a sensation, free of any of the criticism she would later receive, free of the pressure it is to be held on a pedestal because of your standout talents, free of the pressure to be perfect for your family, gender, and race, but filled with hope, bright eyes, and potential to have a great future in sports and become one of the best ever. And then these things happened. Stunt number 1, suspended for smoking weed. For Sha'Carri, I think this is where it all went in a different direction. As if her star couldn't be rising at a better time. She found herself in direct line of her first Olympics at just 20 years old and already running a time that could easily see her medal in the biggest sporting event in the world that athletes wait what seems like a lifetime to compete in. At the 2020 US Olympic trials, she ran a 10.86 in the 100 meters, a time that would have been good for fourth in the Tokyo Olympic finals, and with a little push and extra adrenaline, who knows what could have happened. Elaine Thompson-Herah won in a time of 10.61, Shelly Ann Frazier 10.74 for second place, and Shericka Jackson a 10.76 to complete an all-Jamaican sweep of the medals. Sha'Carri Richardson sat and was watching it all back in the US because after the US Olympic trials, she failed a mandatory drug test all athletes had to submit before the event, testing positive for THC metabolites in her system. She almost immediately owned up to smoking weed in order to cope with the loss of her biological mother after she passed away a week before the US Olympic trials and was suspended for a month by the US ADA. The failed drug test made national headlines and gave the media all over the world the story they wanted leading up to the Olympics. Sha'Carri Richardson, the US top hope, unable to compete because of weed. Everyone tore her down, from men to women, black, white, young, old, and everyone had a YouTube video about it like vultures waiting for another black athlete that messed up. The story was too good. A flashy, black, young, talented female athlete caught smoking weed. Just as we expected, right? Nike stood by her and still does today as she attempted to put the pieces back together. For added info, Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva also failed her drug test before the Olympics, testing positive for the drug trimetazidine, known to help endurance in athletes, and was still allowed to compete in the Olympics. Yes, she is white for those on Stevie time. Even though she was suspended, it was overturned by the CAS and she was allowed to compete. She won gold at the event. When asked about it, Sha'Carri said the only difference is the fact she's a young black lady and Kamila is not. If she thought she needed weed to cope with her mother passing, she definitely needed for the scrutiny she faced after, where people still haven't forgotten it and bring it up every time she has a bad race, which since then she's been having often, not winning a meet that mattered since. After returning to the track at the Prefontaine Classic, she ran a time of 11.14 seconds in the 100 meters, finishing dead last and being attacked relentlessly for it. Stunt number 2, dealing with being number 1. The road to becoming the best is a difficult one, but one that doesn't have near the pressure as when you finally get there and are presented to the world for all different opinions to have a go at tearing you down so they can rebuild you how they want. Some athletes thrive in these moments, some have their slip-ups and return greater than ever, and some respond like Sha'Carri. Attacks media, attacks other athletes, even legendary ones in her own field, and attacks the worst element you can in the journey back from disgrace, the fans. They have no name and most time, no face. But their words can spread so far they can reach you anywhere in the world in 1 second after hitting tweet or post. Sha'Carri let all the talk about her somewhat get to her, and that's to be expected from such a young female athlete dealing with everything she has to, and according to her, already emotionally unstable to where she's proven life crisis can cause her to throw it all away. She stopped speaking to the media and has been ignoring them ever since testing positive, and when she does get in front of the cameras, she's defensive, nervous, and saying all the wrong things to defend herself in a place she'll never be able to win. Most times, it's hard to win going against the media when the narrative is you're a young, angry black female that thought you were so great and failed. They have anonymity, platform, and all the information about you to bury you emotionally and in the public eye, and Sha'Carri is its latest and one of their biggest victims that struggle dealing with being number one. Stunt number 3, the price of fame. With that said, all athletes coming up, you must remember that in being successful comes with a price. You can't be good at just one thing. You have to add so many layers to yourself that will make you shine and also be protected when you do shine by people put in place to make sure you don't say or do the wrong things, especially when you've put yourself against the world for the actions you've displayed. Sha'Carri, for one, doesn't have the right team around her or isn't listening to them, and it's clear. She's even alluded to such after she did an NBC interview attacking everyone that's had something to say about her, and that's just non-productive. She's gotten breast implants, making sure she fits her Met Gala dresses perfectly, and now when she does races, it seems the flash is more important than the actual race. I'm not sure how aerodynamics work, but I'm pretty sure adding a bandana, acting as a parachute around your neck, WWE knee-high stockings, and fishnets don't give you wind advantage in a sport that is directly affected by outside elements. She's now been eliminated from the US World Championships, making a second disappointing season for Sha'Carri, who seems to pay more attention to looking good instead of actually being good on the track. The price of fame you have to pay to make sure you're the best at what you do. Sha'Carri wants and loves being famous, just that she isn't getting the kind she should get, which is to be known as one of the 6 fastest females ever and a young sprinter on the rise. Instead, she now looks like a spectacle, losing races in all getup, while the Jamaican girls keep it simple and are having success. All in all, I think the media all around needs to chill on Sha'Carri. She's 22 years old and didn't have the foundation most are allowed, growing up with a grandmother that could only do so much to prepare her for the world, much less being famous. She's done great for herself prior to the weed suspension and seems very talented. Like the advice Usain gave her, she needs to just focus on her training and come back ready to be great. She also could use a different PR team because hers is not effective. But first, she has to change herself. Attacking media isn't the way. Smoking weed as a young athlete tied to a brand like Nike isn't the way. Caring more about your cup size than milliseconds isn't either. Her focus needs to be realigned and tightened if she's ever to reach her full potential. For now, for these reasons, her growth is being stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth, and